Hey guys, this is Downphoenix, and I wanted to hop on here to talk about the new workshop paid mods for Elder Scrolls V Skyrims available on Steam. So apparently Steam Workshop now allows you to do paid mods for various games. So creators of these mods can go ahead and put a product up for approval, which is apparently like a really non-existent process, which I'll get to that in just a bit. And then they, place the pricing that they want on there, and they'll go from there. So I'm going to go ahead and read this letter that Valve has sent. I guess I don't know if Valve or no, it's Bethesda that sent this. So we've had a long and excellent relationship with our good friends at Valve. We work together to make the workshop a huge part of Skyrim, and we're excited that something we've been working together on for a long time is finally happening. You can now charge for the mods you create. Unlike other curated games on Steam that allow users to sell their creation, this will be the first game with an open market. It will not be curated by us or Valve. It was essential to us that our fans decide what they want to create, what they want to download, and what they want to charge. Many of our fans have been modding our games since Morrowind for over 10 years. They now have the opportunity to earn money doing what they love, and all fans have a new way to support their favorite mod authors. We've also updated Skyrim and the Creation Kit with new features to help support paid mods, including the ability to upload master files, adding more categories, and removing file size limit restrictions. What does that mean for you? As a modder, you now have the option of listing your creations at a price determined by you. Or you can continue to share your projects for free. For those shopping for new mods, Valve is making sure you can try any mod risk-free. See refund policy. For full details on changes to the Steam Workshop, check out Steam's announcement page and FAQ. Modding has always been important to all of our games for such a long time. We try to create worlds that come alive, and you can make your own, but it's in modding where it truly does. That isn't... Oh, okay, never mind. I was like, that doesn't really make it sense, because you make it your own if you mod. Thanks again for all your incredible support over the years. We hope steps like this breathe new life in the Skyrim for everybody. Bethesda Game Studios. That seems fantastic, right? It really sounds like, why are people complaining about this? This is just opening an avenue for modders to get financial support for what they're doing so that they can have more time to do what we would like them to do, right? But that's not at all the case here. So there is a refund policy, which is very strange because Valve doesn't have any kind of refund policy at all, although I'm guessing it's because they don't curate the products at all here. So this is kind of like the Wild West. They have to give the consumers some kind of out in case they happen to buy something which is plain junk, right? So you do get 24 hours to do a refund request, and if it's, once it gets approved, you'll lose the access to that content, and your Steam wallet will get refunded within 2 to 3 days, it says. So that's fine and dandy, right? I mean, you're giving the consumer some kind of protection here, which they didn't have before. Now let's take a look at the Steam announcement page and FAQ, which, just kind of makes it look all nice and fancy. So they talk about all the different mods available for Skyrim. There's 24,000 plus. And you can see that they have some paid content. This stuff looks pretty high quality. I mean, for the most part, this one's a complete graphics overhaul to make the game look nice and pretty. Then we have some nice looking mage armor and weapons, and here's a bundle of different mods, and we even have a play now for free until April 26th, which is always nice. Looking out for us out, Valve, right? But here's where we get into the problems here. So we do have, this product here that does talk about the pricing and requirements and contributors and all this good stuff, right? So here's some stuff that we need to realize. Now, there has been some misinformation about this. I've heard some people saying that with these mods that you only get paid in Steam wallets, therefore you can't actually get real cash. That is actually incorrect, because it does have segments in this FAQ where you're able to provide bank information, various bank account information, tax, identification numbers, various things like that that are needed for everything to be considered legit. Valve clearly has thought about it all, and you can get paid cash for this. You could potentially make a living off these mods, although they're going to make it extremely difficult to do so, because first of all, you don't receive any payment until you've incurred at least $100 in sales. Now, if we were to say do this through normal revenue sharing methods that Steam has, where Valve basically gets about 30% of the sale, and then the publisher of the item gets 70%. That's been pretty much an established number, is 70-30 for most digital storefronts. Those are similar numbers to what we see with the iPhone and Android, and of course the various game markets on the PlayStation, Nintendo, and Xbox. There might be a little bit of variation from that formula, but for the most part it remains around 70-30. 70 for the publisher, 30 for the marketplace vendor. Valve's still taking their cut. They're still getting 30%. So now this leaves two parties remaining to split it, whereas used to be just one party. Used to be just the publisher remaining from that. But now the publisher is also sharing with the modder. Now you might be thinking, well, the publisher's cut's going to be pretty small. After all, they make their money on the game itself. They probably don't expect a whole lot of sales on these mods to begin with. And they're not even curating the product. They're not managing it in any way. So, apparently, from what I understand, from what I've seen here, the mods are completely community-driven, community-curated. So, Valve and Bethesda have taken a completely offhand approach. So, essentially, they're getting free money, right? Now, Valve, it makes sense that they get the 30% still, because they are hosting the product on their servers and all that stuff, and that does incur costs, right? So, I'm not too upset about their cut, but how much does Bethesda want to take? Well, Valve has set this program in place to allow, after they get their 30% cut, that 70% can be split any way that they decide, the publisher decides. Bethesda wants a 45% cut at that 100%. So how much does it leave the mod? 25%. Even though you're the one that put the effort into the product, and therefore should be getting the majority of the money off the product, you get diddly squat. And the reason for this is because it's a simple fact of the matter that Bethesda is the copyright holder of the Skyrim series. So any money that is being made off of it, they would have dictation on. Now, we know on YouTube and other places that copyright's been a very hot contended subject. Look at Nintendo, for instance, with the YouTube monetization program for Nintendo videos. Nintendo has it to where they get a 30 to 40% cut, depending on what kind of video content you have. The cut that you would normally get 100% of from that. So YouTube would get its percentage, which the revenue sharing is fairly similar from what I understand. YouTube gets 30% of all ad revenue, and then the content creator, assuming that they are solely the content creator, would get 100%. Or get 70% of that 100%. So, and Nintendo's, going and essentially taking 40% of that, which is kind of a bummer. It really is. But at least you still kind of make the majority of the money. You still make more money than Nintendo or YouTube makes out of it. So that's not quite so terrible when you compare it to this. Which, with that's just recording game footage or whatever and commentating over it or reviewing it or something like that. It's not really exactly very technical work outside of some video editing and stuff like that. I mean, video editing can be technical in some cases, but For the most part, it's not very technical. This actually requires some hands-on knowledge with programming and things like that. Maybe not extremely in-depth like designing a whole game would be, but definitely requires some good knowledge, especially if you want to make a mod that's good enough and high quality enough that people actually want to pay for. And then you're only getting 25 cents on the dollar for that product. And if modders decide to go ahead and do this, I mean, yeah, they can make some money, I suppose, but not a good way to go about it. I think any modders that are interested in doing this should instead maybe establish other means of funding their game. Means that wouldn't really cut themselves out of most of the money. Examples would include any kind of, they could post YouTube videos and make ad revenue off of those, which I don't think would be very much. Probably not as much as they would off selling the mods, but that's something. They can establish Kickstarters and Patreons and things like that. Just various ways to help, finance some income. So they can spend, most of their time working on this game rather than it just being a hobby. But if it just has to be a hobby and you enjoy it, just leave it that way. I mean, that's ultimately what it comes down to. And if you're worried about how much money that your mod's going to make, and you have to, worry about filling out tax forms and things like that, and submitting on your taxes, from the money that you make from the mod, and that's just going to give you a lot more stress than it's really worth, honestly. So I'm really hoping that most modders don't participate in this program. And even if they do, I like this image right here. Look at this. Original game. Look how cut up it is now. And they even throw in the Steam Workshop. $2, $5, $4. Used to be free in 2011, right? So things have changed quite a bit. But it is what it is, I suppose. So, okay. And so let's go ahead and take a look at some of the mods, just to see what we've got. So, like I said, these mods right here, they look like pretty high quality products. This purity thing might actually be worth paying $3 for, because it looks like it does some pretty nice graphical enhancements to the game. It isn't total shit looking like the other E&B sweet effects or whatever mods are that look like absolute shit. This actually looks pretty nice, at least from the screenshots. I guess I had to tell in the actual game if that really is how it looks, but it looks like it's worth $3. This is a mod that I would not mind paying for. That said, I probably still wouldn't, because I think the vanilla game looks just fine, honestly. And if I wanted to look better, there's the free high resolution texture pack I can download to make it look a bit nicer. But not a bad mod, to pay for, right? And then you got some other ones like this Blazing Ring sword. It's only 25 cents. It's a cool looking little sword. It actually looks pretty cool. It's only 25 cents. That's not too bad, right? That's fair enough. 936 subscribers. I'm assuming that means that 936 people bought it. I'm assuming that's, like I said, that's just kind of a... Now, here's one that looks like it's kind of a joke here. Immerse yourself in the experience of being locked out of something you've enjoyed for years and having a community you grow to love being torn apart overnight. You'll need to start a new game to witness disappointment. Adds a huge collision box to Helgen Gate, preventing you from progressing to the character creation. Adds a bunch of other fluff too. Did you know this mod took 12 years to make? So obviously it's a joke mod. This one doesn't cost anything, but it's obviously made in reference to this whole new program that we've got here. So, very well played indeed. Now, fortunately, the most popular mod of all on Steam Workshop for Skyrim False Scar is still free. as they advertise it right here, Fall Scarp will remain available free of charge. And I hope this remains the case for most mod makers. But I mean, if they are gonna, have a mod that they're gonna charge for, at least hope it is at the level of quality that something like Purity is, because this is actually something worth paying for to some degree. I mean, I don't know if I would, honestly, but at least I won't be looking at people weird, looking weird for paying for it, right? So that's fine. Now, here's a problem that we run into, though. I mean, as you can see, most of these mods are completely usable, I guess. Pay for mods, pros test side, free the mods. It's nice. But yeah, I mean, let's take a look at, back to the workshop here. Okay, so here's paid items under reviews. Under review. Now, some of these might not seem too bad. We got Red Guard Manor, 49 cents. Ultra Realistic HD Blur. What the hell? Oh, it makes everything look like piss. I'm guessing. That's my guess at this, at least, is that they're trying to make it look like it's piss. Got one purchaser. So, one person bought this for $2.49. So the person that made this fancy mod, oh man, they're about 67 cents richer now, aren't they? Congratulations. You stumped somebody. Oh, look at this. Additional Dragon's Reach cheese wheels for $99.99. Not surprised that nobody's bought this. Not at all. For a couple of extra cheese wheels, which actually makes it look like kind of like a penis, honestly. But yeah, very interesting how they did that. Oh, they even made this nice fancy looking bokeh looking image to make it look all fantasy and stuff. So yeah. So this program is a complete disaster, honestly. Yeah, I really don't know what to say here. But if Valve and Bethesda expect to get that kind of cut, you're going to have to moderate this. I mean, the only reason why these are under review, as it says, is because there hasn't been enough people in the community that's bought them yet or flagged it for being bad or something of that nature. So I can get the unique item Gaben's Deuce for $99.99. Ooh, that's fancy. So those Valve fanboys, those Steam fanboys, this is the item you guys should spend. This shows that you're a PC master gamer, right? So, right. Okay, so... Oh, and look, according to this, somebody actually bought it. If the subscriber count is correct. I'm not sure if it is or not, but... Now, they could be submitting their refund, I'm sure, and they just bought it just as a joke, but, yeah. Shame on you, Valve. Shame on you, Bethesda. I mean, I really hope nobody else participates in this. It's just sad to see. I mean, the PC Master Race. Your days are getting numbered. We can't advertise free mods as being a selling point of PC games anymore. That's one of the best selling points of PC games. So, I mean, what's that leave us now? So, just some thoughts, guys. Let me know what you think in the comments below. But till then, Downphoenix out.